Shalom, shalom, Mr. Prakash. Can I be heard? Feedback.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can be heard. Shalom, family. Shalom, worldwide. Hope everybody can hear us loud and clear. This Zoom, I've been doing a little bit of research about the Zoom when it comes to playing music, and it's terrible. Everyone is complaining that the sound is like being in a bathroom, in a toilet, whatever. It's like really bad when it comes to playing music. Um, there's a lot of compression. That's why sometimes the vocals comes out and is fighting with the music, going back and forth. Like the thing's designed just to deal with voices only, and it could be very difficult. So, um, and it depends on the computer system that you have. It also depends on the um, internet service that you have. It's like a compromise. You got to give up one thing for something else. You got to plug it to an Ethernet. I was told all kinds of stuff, and it's terrible. And then also when it comes to some of the settings, what I've realized is that they keep updating this thing all the time. So every time you think you can get something good, it's working fine. All of a sudden, there's an update, and you got to scramble around to find out, what's going on with my video. How come I can't see it? It's crazy. But anyway, it is the system that we use. It's for the most part, it's the best out there. It is what it is. So happy Friday Night Live and shalom to each and every one of you worldwide. I hope that the Most High is blessing you wherever you are. We over here in America, for the most part, is under a winter advisory. A lot of places have had snow. In Georgia, in particular, there's a lot of snow. Different places got different inches of snow. And usually down in the south, when snow happens or ice, the people in the south, they don't have a history of driving in this type of a weather, so it can be chaotic. Yesterday, the governor had issued a statement about, the government, I should say, issued a statement about going out and getting yourself food, water, and all those different provisions because they might have some outages and whatnot. So, and just before we actually continue, this is why we always try to teach our people about the Shalom life. And what that means is if you're living in an apartment, and most people who live in an apartment don't have a fireplace in the US. And if you have a fireplace and the power goes out, at least you can light some type of wood, paper, or something that you can burn to stay warm. Because do you know a lot of people have actually were found dead in their homes because they had no heat, and they tried to use barbecue grills. The average Hebrew, we gotta get a grill. I gotta get a grill. A barbecue grill inside the apartment, and you can't do that because the thing creates a lot of fumes. You don't have any way to vent all the fumes, right? So a fireplace already is designed for that purpose. This is why when you have a home, make sure you got something with a fireplace, or you live in a place that doesn't have this type of a situation. So I hope that everybody's staying warm wherever you are. I hope our Israelite brethren are stocked up well, because sometimes when the power goes out because of the amount of snow or ice on these wires, you can lose power, and it can be somewhat critical situation, especially if you have medical situations or medical issues. If the power goes out for more than 3 days in the wintertime, it is not easy, right? So please be safe. Please make sure that everyone follows protocols. And when you go out to shovel snow, please be careful. A lot of people go out, they slip, they break a hip, they break a knee, a leg, whatever. be careful. Be careful, all right? If you're not used to the snow and ice, you will get hurt. So, shalom and happy Friday Night Live to our families down in the Caribbean. I know you're nice and warm. You have nothing to worry about other than heat. Shalom to the families over in South and Central America. Right here in these divided states of America, you got Greenland that's becoming part of America. You got Canada that's going to be part of America, it looks like. Panama is going to be part of it too. And maybe some other places. Right now, the governments of Europe is threatening to say, well, hey, Trump wants to invade. He's going to send troops. And so they are concerned that the Americans is going to snatch up territories, all right? And that's right, Sister Marvis. They're going to be changing. It's no longer going to be called the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to be called the Gulf of America. He says this has a nice ring to it. It's going to be the Gulf of America. So he's flying over the Gulf of America. So we are in some different times, right? Different times. So shalom to the families over in the UK. I can't say across the board in Canada anymore. I really can't say that because we don't know what's happening. Maybe some things already under the thing is in play already on the cover. So we're just gonna keep watch. You girl, you may say it's delusional, but you never know what's really going on, right? You never know what's going on. Shalom to the families, like I said, in the UK, in Africa, in Europe, Middle East, and the Far East, and every island of the sea. Shalom, shalom. Gulf of Texas. Well, that will be interesting. That will be interesting. So tonight, we're going to ask Ella to render tefillah on behalf of the whole house of Israel. It's good that you all are coming in. Brother Shea got a real good class coming up where he's going to talk about the obesity, spiritual obesity that is happening, which is bad for our health, which is the doctrines, the defiled doctrines that are poisoning our people and causing our spirit to be overwhelmed with the unclean things, right? And so hopefully we will all learn something tonight. Hallelujah. So is Elder ready?
All praises to God.
All praises. All right.
Hallelujah. Father. Heavenly Father, we praise you, bless you. At this time, Father, kindness. And your tender. We lift your name on high. We thank you for keeping us in the hours. We thank you, Father, for watching over us at this time. We ask you, Father, to bless the congregation tonight, the church. Brother John, brother, as they teach tonight, keep us read your words. And each and every one, Father, as we come and participate to listen to your words tonight. We ask your blessing on us. Remember the sick. We pray that thou be upon them and work a miracle in their life that the Lord be healed and repentance and pray. We ask it, Yeshua, we pray. Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen. Hey, thank you, Elder. Brother Shea, check your thing. It's echoing.
Trying to figure that out.
Go under the settings. Hold on, Mishpakal. We're gonna try to resolve this. Go under your settings and your audio settings, and go to advanced. Where it's at the bottom. Hopefully, you might have the same setup as I do. And it says echo cancellation. And hopefully it should be set to auto.
Set on auto.
It's set in auto?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Put it on low. Let's see if that works best. Because I'm not sure. Yeah, set yours to low. Am I echoing, family?
No.
Am I echoing, family? Okay. So, Brother Shea, when you go on the audio profile, There should be something says high fidelity, echo cancellation. Click on echo cancellation.
Audio profile.
Yeah, on the audio profile where it says microphone, then it's audio profile. You got three little things there, and then underneath where it says original sound for musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to this high fidelity, excuse me, and echo cancellation and stereo audio. So you want to get echo cancellation in there. All right, say something. Say something.
One. Hello? Testing.
Okay, you're coming through okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Elder,
Just
try your
change it
mic.
back to the normal setting that I had.
Okay, that sounds better. Yeah. I don't know. This system, I'm telling you,
Yes,
it's
the
like,
one you sent me earlier. That's why I put it on, and that's what
yeah,
it was.
that was because of the music. And so the music, what happened is, what I realized is that this is what the people are saying to do. And I think what happened is the audio for the music is coming through, but the music itself wasn't coming through. So there's some crazy stuff. So set it back, and let's see what happens. But so far, it sounds much better. All right.
How about now?
Yeah,
Can you hear
sound
me
good.
good? Clear?
Yes. Need to see you though.
All right, 1 second. I'll put the camera back on. I was
Okay.
shuffling around.
All right. Greetings again, family, coming into the chat, into the room. Greetings and shalom worldwide once again. Just trying to tweak this thing here on this back end, but it is what it is. So it's all yours, brother Shay.
All right, Mishpaka. Shalom to everyone. Checking one more thing here. Yeah, shalom to everyone. Tonight, we have a good little class tonight. Not really beating the dead horse per se, but just getting some things across the board where we can all be aware of what's going on out there. So we see on the screen the mac and cheese brother over here, right? Defiled Doctrines, and it says, be careful what you eat. Because as we all understand, we are all consumers, whether it's food, clothing. We always consume things in order to live every day. We go to the stores, we buy things, we purchase a variety of things because we love to take things in. So we have to be careful what we bring into our homes, our bodies, our temple, as we've been saying for many classes. So the mac and cheese doctrine is not just a simple term used, but rather a combination of things our people participate in and consume. They do this by not adhering to the contract our great grandfather Abraham signed with the Most High. We do so by breaking the Torah, and this is the problem that we have, where we find ourselves in time after time. The curses that we've been speaking about in all the classes. How can we get back to the state where the Most High is accepting us? And this is by us applying the simplicity of keeping the commandments. And at times when you mention that, people look at you like, all you want to talk about is law. Are you a Pharisee? Or do you like to just talk about the law? And I'm saying, no, the law is the foundation. Now, how we deal with each other, with compassion, with love, this is the difference when you look at it from how we are supposed to be carrying ourselves. Because the world, I should say the Christianity in a sense, will always want to play the card of just use love without the law. And then they'll push and say that we just pushing law without love. And the two cannot be separated, Mishpaka. Because when you truly love the Most High, automatically, what would you do? You keep his laws. So there's no separation. You see on the screen, it says, Black man's religion. Can Christianity be Afrocentric? So they're trying to see if we can be fed the regurgitated doctrines that are out there. because they take the stuff from us, strip all our identity, strip everything down, and now they want to feed it back to us in a different form. And they call it Christianity and various other religions that are out there. So tonight, I hope to make simple connections of the many conversations we have had relating to many doctrines out there. So Rebbe can say on the Rumble channel and on the YouTube channels that we have there still, all the classes that we've been talking about, it's always to reach our people, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to wake them up, to bring them back. And we have been talking about the many false doctrines out there over the years, especially when it comes to our own people making a fool of themselves and mocking the word they read. We see that time and time again, not realizing that they're only bringing death upon themselves. Shalom, Kifa. You're going to read that one for me to start with. Proverbs 14 and verse 9.
Shalom. Proverbs 14:9. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor.
So Solomon is saying a fool is the one that maketh a mock at sin, because they would always play around and make gestures and joke and says, oh, this is nothing. We have enough time. We can do whatever we want. But among the persons that keep the Torah, the Most High is going to give them that favor. That is for those who are obedient to the law, statutes, and commandments. Those that apply it, those that live it every day through the love. This is why when we normally say on the Shabbats, these two commandments, we're referring to what? All of the laws. That's why it says it hangs on the law and the prophet, law and prophet. So there's no separating it. But again, the world wants to separate it.
Messiah made it very clear when he, so people who are anti-law, if you love me, there goes the word love, keep my commandments, right? If you love me, keep my commandments. And so love and commandments, you can't separate one from the other. The commandments is actually, if a manufacturer creates a device and they don't include some kind of instructions that the person who spent so much money, because you work hard to get the monies, to take the money and buy that device or that equipment or whatever it is, and that thing causes you to get blind or maimed, hurt you or hurt a family member, that's a sign of no love. That means that the company don't care, because people who care will include some kind of instruction so that you can get the best out of what you're purchasing. If you buy a car and they don't tell you, well, this thing is to do this or that, you can hurt yourself and you can also injure others. So the mere fact that someone instructs you, whether it's the dealership salesperson who's going to show you how to use the vehicle, like this is not like a regular car, do this or whatever. The instructions are there because people care. People want to make sure that people operate with safety. So I don't understand how you can go into the church, and even within the church, the usher guides you and tell you where you can sit and where not to sit, and don't talk in church. If there's no law, just run your mouth, just get up and throw pies at the pastor when you don't like it. You know what I mean? Just go and don't even use the bathroom that has signs on it that tells you where the males need to go and the females. Just go poop on the bench. You know what I mean? Just do whatever you want in the church. But, the people are going to say that's ridiculous. But the fact is, every place have some type of rule. And those rules is by default love, because it keeps people from going crazy at each other, doing some stupid things and harming each other. Correct?
That's correct. Instructions are very, very important. Like you mentioned, just getting instructions in any type of mechanical device that you have, or electronics, piece of equipment, you have instructions. Now, as a person who knows how to operate something, they're not going to need the instructions because they have learned how to operate it. But for the person who doesn't know how to operate it, they need instructions so they can learn how to operate it. And then if there's any changes or whatever it is, you refer back to what? If there's a problem, what you do? Refer back to the instructions on how to fix it. And that is very simple when it comes to us and understanding how we're supposed to live our lives. All right, let's look at the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2. We're going to read from verses 1 to verses 3.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying Yahweh that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with fiend words make merchandise of you, whoso judgment now of a long time lingereth on not, and their damnation slumbereth not.
So we see that Peter was speaking about what was already written. He says, but there were false prophets also among the people. Because when you look back in the Torah, you can also see examples of the false prophets. You remember the one with the guy on the lion? Anybody remember that one? Put a one in the chat if you remember that one, where the Most High told him not to eat. The false prophet, yeah. And what he do? He didn't listen. Yeah, he went halfway. So there are more examples. It says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, because you have people who pose as they want your best interests, but really and truly, they don't want your best interest. They want their best interests, but they're going to just use the name of Yeshua. We see how the heathens do it. They bring the nice big wooden cross, and in the name of Jesus, they're going to do everything. And they use these things as tools. They use the Most High's word as a means of making money. And we understand that they call them hirelings, right? People who are there just for the money, not for the love of it, salvation sake, but they're in it just for the money. So there shall be false teachers among you who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying Yahuwah. So they're going to tell you other things, because to deny the Most High, to deny Yeshua, to deny the word is to do what? Be rebellious against it. You're basically going against what it's saying. It's telling you to do this, and you're going to say, no, that's not what it really means, because you have the philosophies that has been ingrained and indoctrinated in you, and you're going to go with how you feel rather than what the word is telling you. So this is how you deny Yeshua and his word, that brought them and bring upon them swift destruction. So when they see this word swift destruction, at times in Christianity, they say, well, that's done away with, because back then, the Most High used to strike you down dead. Now you don't get stricken down dead because he has love, not understanding that that is a grace period that was given to you, but that punishment and that destruction is still coming to you. Verse 2 says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. So now they're going to start talking bad against the word, because the word to them doesn't mean anything. It's all about how they feel again and how they can gain whatever personal gain from it, rather than for the whole health of the body and saving of the body. And through covetousness shall they with fiend words make merchandise of you. And we're going to see some of that there tonight. I'm going to share some videos tonight on one of our famous brothers that we all know about. And we're going to break some things down, and we're going to ask some questions in the chat and have a little dialect to kind of see how our people have been fooled. Why are they doing the things they're doing? And what is causing them to stay in this state? Okay. Let's look at continuing to verses 4, and then we jump down to verse 8 and verse 10.
For if Elohim spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Peter, 2 Peter 2:8, for that righteous man dwell among them, and seeing and hearing vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds.
Okay, so let me go back a minute. When we go back here, Peter is saying, talking about the false prophets, how they're going to come in among you, they're going to deceive you. And he's saying, if the Most High didn't even spare the angels that broke his commandments, his laws, what about you? Who are you, Mr. Christian, or Mr. Religious Man, or like Rebbe says, holier than thou Hebrew? Who are you and I that we can say that we can do whatever we want to do?
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
Funny thing, just looking at 2 Peter 2 and 4, the average knucklehead would say, well, the commandments didn't come until Moses, so why were the angels considered to be sinners? What was the rule that was established that justify Elohim for kicking them out?
Mm-hmm.
And why would Peter in the New Testament even refer to those sodomites or those people back in the day that vex Lot's righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful, quote, unlawful deeds? The word unlawful connects back to something that has to do with law.
Right.
You know, if we're dealing with operating under just love, this by reading this alone, it wouldn't make any sense, because now it puts this thing, well, okay, maybe Peter and Paul just got two separate, like they got two separate messiahs, like they got two separate teachers, right? Like Paul is under this liberal teacher who says the law is done away with, and Peter's on this conservative, I'll just use this term, red pill, right? Teacher that says that there's a law, right? That classifies these people back in the days of Lot. I mean, it will be a bad example to talk about Lot if we're now under some new way of doing things, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Everything is right there for us to see. We keep putting on these Gentile glasses and not realizing that it's written right there in front of you, because you're saying it vexed his righteous soul from day to day. It's like you've seen, like we spoke about during the week of pizza dedication, how these people willfully polluted the temple, and that vexed the Maccabees, that they went and they did what they had to do to try to bring back righteousness back to the temple. Verses 10 says, but chiefly, go ahead, read that.
But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lusts of uncleanliness and despise government, presumptuous are they, self-willed, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignities.
And we're going to see exactly what this verse is saying. People who want to make themselves in high places, chiefly, they want to be up there. And what they're doing, they're only bringing swift damnation to themselves, because they're walking in uncleanness. They don't care about the law. They don't care what's written there. They're all about me, myself, and I. That is the same spirit that Lucifer had, Satan had. I want to be like the Most High. And this is the same spirit that he has poured out upon the people. Now let's look at something here a minute. We're going to start with this video. So let me pull this to the side. Call this one the Hebrews breakfast. All right, we're going to look at this brother right here. Y'all remember this brother?
Oh yeah, that's mac and cheese, the captain of the mac and cheese.
Brother Xavier, where you at? Brother Xavier's in, let me see Brother Xavier's.
That's
This is
the
Brother
head.
Xavier's buddy.
That's the head Hellenized Hebrew. I'm surprised he don't have laurels in his head. That's the Greek brother right there.
All right, let's chime into his world for a minute. Fair use.
All praises. The kitchen crew been working real hard to feed the brotherhood. And I just want to show y'all a little bit of what we got. All right. We having breakfast for dinner, something we like to do every now and then. We got
So they're having the breakfast
smothered potatoes with
dinner.
bell peppers and onion. All right. We got my personal favorite, garlic and onion sausage. We got bacon. We got sausage links. You can get them pancakes right there. All right. And put the camera on me. I'll put it on me. We have Gideon's grit.
Look at his earrings, right? You see his earrings right there?
Yeah, he has a master. Took him to the post and bore his ear and got him set up.
Go back a little bit. You have Gideon's grits. Go back a little bit.
Gideon's grits.
Mm-hmm.
We have Gideon's grits. Okay. Gideon made the grits. Check it out. Nice and creamy. All right. We got the golden brown chicken wings fried in the fry daddy. All right. We got the fresh biscuits, brown to perfection. All right. We got the cheesy eggs right here. Y'all see that there? All right. We got blueberry waffles. All right. And then last but not least, get on over there, LT.
Zoom in.
We got the sausage gravy. All right. Now you slop that over the biscuits and throw some egg in there, man, with some bacon and sausage, and you eat. All right. So over here, don't forget, check it out. Get the alcohol. Get the alcohol. Get the alcohol. We got the Andre Brut, which is what you need for the mimosas. All right. With the ice cold orange juice. All right. So we finna get full here, man. Check out the shirt. Peek the shirt. I'm finna spin around for you.
This is the merchandise.
You like? Check it out. It took 5 years for everybody to earn this shirt, man. But all praises. This is the end of an era. And this is the end of a segment. We moving on to the next level. LT, get everybody in here. Everybody say shalom to the family.
All right. So let me go back here, man. Let me minimize this a minute.
Head coverings, Brother Yehuda. Come on now. You know that this is Epiphanes' favorite Hebrew. Epiphanes would love this guy, right? He would be the high priest of pork in the temple. High priest of pork.
He says here, and through covetousness shall they with vain words, just make stuff up, make merchandise of you. And you can see how he's clearly doing that. It's just sad. But there's more. We're going to get back to that again. Let's move on a minute.
Hey, before you move on,
Uh-huh.
if you listen to this brother, I don't even know if the word brother is really appropriate. That individual, if you listen to that Hellenized individual, when he does his little blogs, his little video logs, whatever, in his car, or his chronicles in his car, he always refer back to Paul. Paul is the one that, for some reason, makes him believe and teach the way that he do. Listen, this is the problem. I've said it before. Look, if you can't teach from the scriptures about the Messiah, you are not a teacher. Because the disciples did not teach the Messiah from a New Testament or what a letter somebody wrote, and none of that stuff. They taught from the things that the people had to verify. The Bereans was the good example of that. That they searched the scriptures. Even our Messiah, when he came up from the resurrected, he says, "O fools and slow of heart." Moses talked about me, right? From the beginning. He didn't say it from Matthew. He didn't say it from the letters of Paul. Paul wasn't even in the picture. He referred them back to the Tanakh to identify him and his role in our lives as Israelites. So you will all just, if you listen to what he's saying, if you go to his channel and check it out, you're gonna find that Paul is the justification for the Hebrew breakfast that he has. Now that's breakfast. That breakfast is a dinner, correct?
Yeah, that's the breakfast dinner.
Those guys love to eat. They love to eat. They live to eat.
Yes, that's what you call the gluttonous Hebrew. All right, the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 15.
Beware of false prophets. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
So, Mr. Kind of chat, how is this brother being a ravening wolf? Let me see who can answer that. How is he becoming or being a ravening wolf? Because we would say he's leading them astray, okay? False doctrine and a stumbling block. What else? He's hungry and is looking for the food. Deception. I'll give me one more.
I like the poster that you have where it says, "Once elected," the wolf is saying, "Once elected, I will be vegetarian."
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's a form of getting you in comfortable and making you feel like you are checking all the boxes, and then when you turn around, it's too late. They lead you right down to the slaughter. So let me read this, Mr. Kai. If there is one true Elohim that gave his word to his people, that was recorded in what we call scriptures, right? Not the New Testament, but the scripture, in which all churches claim to be using, or the Bible, why are there so many differences? Why is there so many differences when it comes to the Bible? Because all churches say they have the truth with the F, right? Truth. If you go down to First Baptist, they're going to swear left and right, we have the truth. You go on to Pentecostal, same thing. Mormons, Adventists, give me some more flavors. Scientologists, Protestants, Jehovah's Witness, all of them, they all say we have the truth. But is that true? Can they all have the truth and all be different? That means something is wrong. That means the doctrine that they have there somewhere along the line is wrong. So when you go to the Bible bookstore or bookstores or selections in a bookstore, like you go to Walmart or you go to Publix and you go by the Bible section, the little book section, why are there so many Bibles and books of theories and interpretations? Well, when you go there, there's just so many different Bibles, different flavors. This is the world we live in today. The world today give you different flavors. It's like if Moses was coming down the mountain and he says, listen up, Israel. I have all these tablets in my hand. Those who want the real law, come over there. If you want half the law, come on this side. If you don't want the law, come on this side here. If you want a version of the law, come up. And like you have all of these different flavors the Most High gave Moses. It's confusion.
Hey, your brother Shay.
Uh-huh.
Just looking at the AI, the Google AI answering the question, why are there so many different Bibles? And one of the things that is mentioned in there is cultural and linguistic diversity, right? Meaning that translations reflect humanity's cultural and linguistic diversity. So it's not about the truth; it's about what the environment produces.
Right.
So when environment changes, right? When it gets hot outside, you change to that. Like it doesn't stay concrete one way no matter what. It's changing. The Bible has to change based upon what the culture that changes also.
That's right. I'll read that for me, Kifa. What is the most
accurate version of the Bible to read? The King James Version, originally known as the Authorized Version, dates to 1611, is a formal literal version and has had just a few language tweaks since written. This version continues to be the version most people consider the Bible, and it has stood the test of time.
So when you can do the research yourself, you can Google it and see which Bible is the most accurate, the most read, the most picked apart. However you word the question is always going to point back to this particular one right here, because this was the translated one from the Hebrew and the Greek into English, and then every English flavor that we get from thereafter comes from this. So when you talk among different denominations, they will tell you, well, we rather this one because they don't say the days, the thous, speaking the old English type of lingo, but they say we like this one better. And then when you start to really dive into it, you can see how they start to remove one word. They would say, instead of saying holy son or one son or something like that, they would just take out that one word and just say son. Or instead of, it says holy, they'll take out holy and just leave the word as it is. And that changes the whole context of what the author is putting out. That changes the whole context of what the Most High is telling us what to do. And therefore, that becomes very, very dangerous. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Look at that picture on the wall right here. Everybody's looking at over here. Who are they looking at over here? Caesar Borgia. Okay. So let me ask the question. What is the elephant in the room when it comes to the problem that we face today? In the chat, let me see who's thinking. Anyone can answer. What is the problem that we face today when it comes to the truth? Okay. Radakin says the law. That is correct.
Yeah.
The law is the problem.
It's the oldest thing that since the Garden of Eden is disobedience. And this disobedience, you can only have that when you have the law, right? Disobedience does not exist if there is no law, you know. So that's it right there. That's the biggest problem.
Because when you take away the law, you take away everything that the Most High has put into place. And therefore, people believe that they have something called free will. It's my choice. This is what it says. It's my choice. I can do whatever I want. I can do how I want to do it because it's up to me. And the law is what dictates what we can and cannot do. I don't know what is so hard about that people believe that this three-letter word right here is the hardest thing to ever follow or to keep. Now, to know the law and adamantly refuse it is the definition of what? Rebellion. So when somebody knows the law and they say, you know what, I'm going to go opposite to what the Most High has put down, that is rebellion, that is witchcraft, and that's also abomination. Is that correct? Put a 1 if that's correct, put a 2 if that's not correct. Now we're going to play another video. And we're going to see how the brother here has his own choice. It's his choice. Okay. Listen carefully. Fair use again.
Shalom, 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 family. Y'all know what day it is. It's December 25th. The world calls it Christ Mass or Christmas, but here I am again. To us, it's nothing more than Yahweh Shai Day. All right. So first thing we're gonna do is show you the spread. Give it to my cameraman right there. Show him what we got.
This man in the spread.
I mean, a lot. Got some buttered rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Got some chicken, baked chicken.
The baked chicken.
We got the greens.
Greens.
What else we got over there? Yeah, with the smoked turkey in it. Got butter rice.
He has the smoked turkey and the greens this time. The butter
We got
rice.
salmon.
Uh-huh.
Going around the table,
More, less greens and more meats, huh?
You already know what that is. We got
More cholesterol stuff.
All right.
It's the mac and cheese.
That's beef roast.
The beef roast.
Beef, however you want to cut it. All right. And then what we got here? Peanut
You see any
butter
salad?
cake. All praises. This cake was made on behalf of our brother DC Deputy Commander Harass. And then we got what's that right there? Strawberry cake. All right, strawberry cake right there. So we finna eat good, y'all. Good meal, right? Good meal. Right.
Brother Shay.
Yeah.
There is one thing that have greens. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you have the collard greens with some meat in it, right? But there's no salad. That's right, Joyce. There's no salad. You don't have a bunch of carrots there. You don't have different assortment of vegetables of any kind. Nothing to counter all those that rich, buttery, cheesy, starchy stuff. He has more meats on the table.
Yeah. Now listen to what he says now. This is the part that we're going to focus on here because he loves to show his spread. Okay.
Yeah, he's spread all right.
Right. Isn't that good? But guess what? I didn't do that for y'all. I didn't feel like no pork. We've been eating too much of it. We had 2 hams last time. All right. 2 hams last time. So this time we got a Levitically friendly feast coming up. Y'all should be happy about that.
You have a Levitically friendly feast. So he's saying this time he's going to keep it clean because he's doing it for himself. Last time he had 2 hams. That's what he said, right? All right, let's listen.
But let me tell y'all something. Y'all should be mad at this too, because I got the choice, all right, to not have ham or to have it. I chose not to have it this time, all right? I didn't do it to shut y'all up. I did it because I got liberty. Y'all don't. Y'all don't have pork or anything for fear that the salvation that you don't possess, you're going to get. That's why you do it.
Let me go back again so we can hear that one more time. Because I want to digest, because you mentioned he is focusing on Paul, right? And he's giving you the flavor of I'm awakened, I'm a Hebrew, but I'm still a Christian at heart. That's basically what he's doing. I'm gonna play it again.
Feast coming up. Y'all should be happy about that. But let me tell y'all something. Y'all should be mad at this too, because I got the choice, all right, to not have ham or to have it. I chose not to have it this time, all right? I didn't do it to shut y'all up. I did it because I got liberty. Y'all.
So he has liberty. We don't. You see the kind of nonsense that he's spewing out his mouth?
If you go to James chapter 1, if you want to pick it up from about 22, 23, somewhere around there, and read a little bit, you'll see what's really going on here. This brother This is why I keep saying, family, that not everybody is cut to be a teacher or whatever it is. He's just a big hog, the chief boar that's
Mhm.
running around creating other little piglets like himself. And this is a very sad thing
Yes.
for us to look at. James 1, let's go down to verses well, start at verses 2. It says, my brethren, I'll read, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptation. Now, that's a temptation right there, that big old dirty spread that he have, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's scroll down. Verses 5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Elohim. Does Elohim tell us to have pork? No. That giveth to all men liberally. See that word liberally? And
Mhm.
upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. You'll receive the wisdom if you ask him, right? Like Solomon did. Scroll down to verses 20 something. Okay, 20, let's see. Let's start 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the
Mhm.
engrafted word, which is able to save your souls, right? But if you be doers of the what word? Is he
Word.
a doer of the word? Because he recognized the
Nope.
Levitical kosher doctrine that has been established, right? He recognized that. So he's being rebellious.
Mhm.
And not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass, right?
Yep.
Verses 24. For he looketh into the perfect law of what? Liberty. Any liberty has to be based on the law, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. Right? If any among you seems to be religious, like that big old brother right there,
Mhm.
okay, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man religion is vain. Right? So we can see, and you can read on some more, but we can stop there. We can see clearly that something is definitely wrong with this brother. The worms, the trichinosis has gotten to his brain
Mm.
and has ate out all the cells, so he can't comprehend. And I feel sorry for the other people because they're just on the road for a heart attack, for a stroke, and all these other things. And sometimes the Most High allow these men to rise up, right?
Yeah.
Just to see what we're going to do. Because you can't come out and say, well, I'm a Hebrew. I want to serve the Most High. I found the truth. And then you're back with a Christmas tree in your house. You're back eating the same things at the. Would Jesus, if he was here on earth, would he be having a ham sandwich?
Mm. Extra bacon. No, never. Never, Mishpachah. The Most High will not go against His word. This is what you call rebellion, blasphemy at its finest. So he's pushing. It's his choice. He has free will to do whatever he wants to do. He knows what to do, so he know the law, but he's adamantly refusing to keep the law. Okay, laws are always changing to fit the narrative or situation of mankind, but the laws and the will of Elohim remains the same. I'll read that from Mikifo.
Is the Mosaic law still in effect today?
Because what they will try to do is break it down and say, okay, we have all types of different laws. We have the dietary law, we have the Mosaic law, we have the sacrificial law, we have this law, that law, and try to, separate it, but not understanding that everything is in layers and everything is for a purpose and for time and for a reason. And it's all connected. And we understand because currently of us, and we've said this many times, of us being in captivity, we don't perform the sacrificial time right now because we don't have a king, we don't have a priest, we don't have a temple. Therefore, we can't do those things. But everything else that is written in the law still stands today. Continue reading.
Only the moral laws of the Mosaic law, which include the Ten Commandments and the commands repeated in the New Testament, directly apply to Christians today.
So this is the question. You just type it in Google, and this is what pops up. This is a Christian's view on the Old Covenant. This isn't found on Wikipedia. So to ask the question, is the law of Moses still effective today? Because that's the question we're looking at. Okay? The doctrine. The doctrine is formulated based on the laws. You either keep the law or you don't. What doctrine do you have? So when you look at it, they're telling you that the Ten Commandments is the only so-called laws that they would follow. That's what they say. We're going to see. All right, continue reading, Kifa.
Since when there is a change in the priesthood, there is necessarily a change in the law as well.
This is what they're telling you, which is incorrect. Go ahead.
The Mosaic law is no longer in effect.
So they're telling you since there was a change in the priesthood, the law has changed. Is that true?
No, let me touch on that, Brother Shay. This isn't because we're gonna have to go through the book of Hebrews and do a thorough study on that sometime in the near future. When you read the book of Hebrews, they're having a discussion or talk. This person obviously knows temple service, and the person is identifying certain things that is going to affect Israel, in particular Jerusalem, the processes thereof, right? How are we going to deal with certain things when there's no temple? We are so accustomed to doing all these things, having a priest and whatnot. Now, he goes through and explained that the priests, just like we read in the book of Maccabees, where the priests were set up by the Greeks and they switch roles, and people who are not supposed to be priests paid for that opportunity to become high priests, whatever it is. So there were compromises that were made, right? That they were not allotted by the law for them to be in that position. So in other words, these men also die like a normal death and they move on. So the book of Hebrews is addressing that and basically laying the thing down. Listen, we have a high priest that is not according to the standard that we received. This high priest is in heaven, right? As a matter of fact, he was the one who gave us the order. If you go to the book of, I think it's Matthew. Let me see. I think it's the book of Matthew. Real quick, Brother Shay. Just had it here a second ago. You go to the book of Matthew. I think Yeshua mentioned something about, the book of Matthew chapter 20, verses 15. 20 and 15. Yeshua says, is
it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil because I am good?
So he is the one who created the laws of the priesthood and everything else, okay? And he gave it to our nation for us to operate. And he can do whatever he wants to do, right? So you can't call he's lawful. He says, is it not lawful? Doesn't the potter has the right to put things the way it is? So the book of Hebrews is basically saying he took it back to himself. He's the high priest, and this is how it is. Unfortunately, when Gentile people read this thing from the Greek perspective, which is terrible, they believe that it means to say that the law was not good, the priesthood was not good, therefore he got rid of it. That's not what it's saying. Okay, it's just speaking about looking at the frailty of mankind and how those things affect us. But these same Christians will never explain what the prophets have to say about the priesthood being restored. Why would you want to restore something that is not is supposed to be bad? It wasn't good, right? Why would you want to? Ezekiel tells you clearly that the priest has to wear the same garments that they wore before, right? no mixed garments on them. There's certain laws that are there. How did they explain that one?
Mhm.
And speaking of which, Brother Shay, while I have you, go to the book of Isaiah real quick. Isaiah chapter, I think it's 65, 65 and start at verses 2. And we're going to read a little bit here, just a few verses. Verses 2 says,
I,
go ahead, Kifa.
I will spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
A
Read
people
on.
that a people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick.
Want me
Verses
to go
4.
bigger? Want me to go bigger? 1 second. Verse
Yep,
4.
yep.
Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things is in their vessels, which say, Stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day.
All right, stop right there, Keeper. That's all we need. So you got these so-called brothers who claim that they're living by the law of liberty. They're holier than thou. They're saying, well, you stay over there, and we're gonna do what we want to do because we are much better than you. Because the law, this, that, and the other, but the law is negative stuff, and we can choose the pork this week or next week, whatever it is. And the Bible says these guys remain among the graves, right? They eat swine's flesh, abominable things in the vessels. The table itself is a graveyard. That table is a graveyard. It produces death. A people that provoke me, verse 3, to anger continually to my face, that sacrifices in a garden and burn of incense upon altars of brick, not altars of stone, brick. You see the difference, Mishpachah? Because we were not supposed to be putting a tool upon the stone and making bricks or fashioning things from mud and slime and put it together and create bricks. They changed things and put man-made doctrines. That's what it is saying when it refers to altars of bricks. Man-made operations, man-made stuff that is going on. I have spread out my hands, verse 2, all the day unto a rebellious people which walk in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts. You see what's going on, family?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with these brothers. And so he's replicating people like himself. And again, sometimes the Most High allows certain people to be false prophets to see what we're going to do. Like he just put a tree in the middle of the garden, put fruits on it, and just to see what we're going to do. Just to see what we're going to do. And then he gives us the scriptures, how we should live. And then we will look at the scriptures, stick our nose up at it, and go right to the tree and pull the fruit off the tree. We will go and say, yeah, you know what? He's right. The law is supposed to be about liberty. And you know what? As long as I believe in my heart that I'm doing this for the Most High, it's not bad. And you start to justify wickedness. You leave what is written in the law and you start doing nonsense.
And sadly, a lot of our people are following this same trend where the law is telling you, because there's no in between. It's keep the law and live, or you break the law and die. But in their mind, they can break the law. The Most High will not punish them because of love and grace. And then they will be saved once they come back in good graces without ever being punished. And not realizing that every law that we break, there is a punishment. That's why it's called judgments. It's part of the law. And that's the part that no one wants to deal with. They don't want to deal with the consequences of breaking the law. So therefore, the law is too hard. I don't want to deal with it. And this is the problem that we find ourselves in. So the question is, can we amend or update the law based upon the times we live in. So we in Heathens 2025, Mishpachah. It's a new year according to the Gentiles, right? Do we have that authority to update the law based upon the times we live in? Because the Bible is old stuff according to what they say. There's a bunch of things that people put out there. They will always say the Most High's laws, they will say God's law is pure and perfect. His words are true. And then for some reason, as soon as they flip the page to the so-called New Testament, it's like that just deletes itself. It's like the pages go on it and it deletes themselves one time, gone away. The law is over.
If that be the case, then you might as well put females as priests and stuff, right?
They're doing that.
You can do whatever you want. You could put a dog. You could put a dog to become your pastor. It's not a problem.
You know what? In this world that we live in, I guarantee if you Google anything today, you'll find it. You type in dog priest, you probably might find it. It's just that sickening, Mishpachah. All right. Read that for me, Kiefer.
Why do Old Testament laws no longer apply?
This is what they believe. Okay, go ahead.
Jesus reconstituted the people of God. Therefore, Old Testament laws relating to the civic life of God's people, such as requiring the death penalty for grave sins, no longer apply to believers today in the same way. Through his sinless life, Jesus fully embodied all the moral requirements of the law. January 12, 2021.
So, Mishpachah, do you believe that? Do you believe that Jesus came down and he reconstituted the people of God? Took it, he twisted it, he shaped it, and he says, you know what? This death penalty is too much. I'm going to take it away and allow you to become your own selves and do whatever you want to do because I love you.
Hey, brother Shay. Go to Luke chapter 12, verses 47.
Okay, let's go to Luke.
They're saying that the laws doesn't apply anymore, but you have the Messiah himself. It says Jesus, they put it all upon Jesus, poor Jesus, right? Reconstituted the people of Elohim. And it says that
Luke 12 and verse what?
47. So if that be the case, that the punishments as far as the death sentences or any type of civic sentence, right, for among the people and stuff like that, why would the Messiah use parables that include that type of situation where he says in Luke 12:47, and that servant, go ahead, Keeper.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes.
So why say those kinds of things in your parables? Everybody knows that this is a reference to himself as a Lord, as the Lord, who has servants. And those servants, because he's speaking about himself and him being in charge of the whole operation of his Father, because he has the authority to act in his Father's name. Son, take my title, take my signet, go operate in my name. He has the authority given to him. And he's talking, and this is just one example of many parables that speaks about being killed or destroyed or house destroyed, things taken away, or beaten, all of these things. This is for he's talking about civic. He's not even talking about your heart. Oh, the servant who doesn't feel a certain way. No, it's talking about servant who actually doesn't do what the master requires. Not what the servant is thinking. Not what the servant is just said out of his mouth. But the fact that he didn't do it. Didn't do it. And that's the problem that we have today with all of these Hellenized Hebrews.
Yep.
The angels were cast out of heaven because they sinned. But yet, knucklehead Hebrews would say the Torah was not there.
That shows you that the law was always there, because if the angels themselves, just like you said, cast out, for what? For breaking the same law that was established. And when you go in the book of Jubilees, it tells you how everything reflects up there has to reflect down here. Now look at verse 48. It says, but he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with a few stripes. So it's a difference to say, I didn't know, and to say, I know, but I'm going to willfully break the law. The punishment is still there. All right. Grace. Arkifa, read that one for me. What
biblical law apply today? The moral law, such as the Ten Commandments, is the direct command of God and is required strict obedience. See Exodus 20, verse 13, for example. The moral law reveals the nature and will of God, and it still applies today.
See, so when you go to one source, it'll tell you that doesn't exist. But it'll say, okay, the moral law is what we're going to keep. And it's very strict. And when you start to break down the moral law, they start to take that and start to dissect it, because they're saying, oh, we don't want to keep that. The Shabbat day has changed. This is different. That's different. You can do this. It's like, wait a minute. Didn't you just say that it requires strict obedience? It is the direct command of Elohim. That's what they're saying.
I want to know how they would explain the curses of Deuteronomy 28, where it says Israel will be dispersed. We have been dispersed before Jesus came. We have been dispersed after Jesus came, because Jerusalem was destroyed, and we're still dispersed even to this very day until he returns to establish his kingdom. So if the commandments is done away with, how come that curse of being dispersed has not like vanished away or evaporated or something? Why are we still under that penalty to this day, right? Where all the things that is written in Deuteronomy is still on our backs. The curses, gods of wood and stone, all those things still affecting us today. That makes no sense. Makes no sense. And you know, there's a passage in the Bible where it says that when punishment doesn't go out executed right away, I forgot. I'm just paraphrasing. Maybe one of y'all will remember it. But you know, people will tend to do certain things, right? If it's not done swiftly or quickly, people. So he's all just because you don't see. Like you say, okay, Exodus 20, he's gonna kill you right away. You're gonna get killed, just like Nineveh was pronounced is gonna be destroyed just because Jonah preached and the people repented. Is Nineveh still around today? Oh, did it just continue on until the Roman Empire? No, it got destroyed. Right? The people who looked and lived at the serpent, when they saw that serpent, did they enter into the promised land? No, they got destroyed.
The book of Ecclesiastes.
They got destroyed. Thank you, Brother DeWitt. I hope that's the right one. 11 and 8. They got destroyed, family.
Go ahead, Kifo.
But if a man live many years and rejoice in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they shall be many. All that cometh is vanity.
I don't think that's the one I'm looking for. Like judgment is not done speedily.
8:11, he says. Let me
Yeah.
see. All right. Ecclesiastes 8 and verse 11. Okay, here we go. Yes.
Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Yep, that's the one. Thank you, Brother Dawood. That's all right. Lickle, all right. But that's the point that we're trying to make here tonight, family. People think just because your head is not chopped off and rolling down the hill today doesn't mean to say that, oh, all of a sudden, Most High is now changed, he's operating. Look, read through the Bible. The parables is filled with punishments. right? Even he says, my Lord delayed. Let me see if you can find it. Delayed is coming, right? Delayed is coming. Let's see if we can find that. Try to find that. Yeah, that's Matthew 24 and 48.
Matthew 24 and 48. Mr. Picard, make sure you're writing these down so you can remember these good, beautiful scriptures.
You can start from, yeah.
He says, Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew chapter 24. And you can pick it up at 47. And we'll just read a little bit from there. Yeah, let's read from that.
Verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods.
No, yeah, okay, continue on. Sorry.
And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. They shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
That's still punishment. That is still, just because all he's doing is giving you enough rope, longer rope, that you can hang yourself and hang everybody that believe. They give you some extra rope. You can hang yourself, and all of your disciples that follow you with your foolishness, you can be hung to with that same rope. You know what I mean? But it's the same punishment that was given. One was swift and one's delayed. And he's saying, just because you said, my Lord, in verse 40, but if that evil servant, you see how he's classified, that shall say in his heart, that's the New Testament Christian.
That same thing happened at the mount when Moses went up.
Exactly.
He delayeth. He's not coming back. So let's do what? Let's make us. They start drinking. They got drunk. They was fighting the revelry. And when Moses came down, because that period from coming down, transitioning, that's like what we have today called.
Yep, had breakfast at nighttime. Had breakfast at nighttime with the what do you call those drinks? You get the drinks at the table at night too.
The mimosas.
Whatever it's called. It's wickedness. This is provocation. This is like taking the Most High for granted.
Mm-hmm.
That's evil, family. That's evil. Don't ever do that. Don't ever find yourself being presumptuous like that.
So, Mr. Picard, have we been liberated from the law? This is what they like to push right here. They see it is the freedom of Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by the yoke of slavery. And they will quote Paul all day about all kinds of different things and not realizing what's going on. All right, let's look at another video again.
It is for the freedom that Christ has set us free. So that's the reason why it generates sodomites and all kinds of different things. Porkites and sodomites and yeah, there he goes.
All right, let's the madness continues. Let's listen up for a minute.
The scripture says that Yahweh is the end of the law to all in that believe. So if you believe that the law can save you, then guess what? You don't have no salvation.
I pause it a minute. Isn't that the same thing Christians speak? Isn't that the same thing Christians speak? Yes or no? This sounds like a good Sunday sermon that's going on here. But yet he has all this stuff on with the menorah and shalom and speaking all the Hebrew lingo. Like that's going to change anything. All right, let's listen.
Because you trust in the one thing that the Most High told you not to trust in.
He's saying we're trusting in the one thing the Most High said not to trust in. That sounds like the devil, right? Because the Most High says what? Trust in. Let me pull it up. Hold on, let me pull this to the side a minute. get them off the screen a minute.
I'm going to put this link in the chat, Brother Shay. Click on that so you can see the same passage he's quoting. You got to read that. That's Romans chapter 10, I think it is, verses
Make it bigger. Hold on.
3 to 5, verses 4. Romans 10 and 4.
This is what he's reading here.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and this is what we always say.
now it says end of the law. If you look at different translations, it will say end of the law. But this is the exact proper usage of that sentence, that statement. Verses 4, Christ is the goal of the law, not the end, but the goal of the law, which leads to righteousness for all who have faith in Elohim. Okay? He is the goal. We want to have him. It's like, what's the goal for when you work 6 days a week?
You have a paycheck.
To get a paycheck. Right? And if he's salvation, he says, I am the life. I am the resurrection. You want to be resurrected? That's the goal. Keep the law. The goal of the law is to get to Christ, to get the Messiah, because he has access to all these things. It was given to him. And once we do what he says to do, he will grant us what we worked for. Thou faithful servant, that worketh righteousness. This guy is just looking at Greek words end. But if you go behind that word end, you will see what it says in the translation from the English or the Greek. It says goal. The whole reason about the Messiah is the law. The whole reason of the law is to bring us to the Messiah so we can get our paycheck. We need the law.
Yeah. Let's look at Sirach chapter 33. 33.
Brother's off,
Read
man.
Verses 3.
A man of understanding trusteth in the law.
He does what?
Trusteth in the law.
Uh-huh.
And the law is faithful unto him as an oracle.
But this brother over here is telling you to don't trust in the law, because if you trust in the law, you're doing the wrong thing. You see how the serpent speaks, Mishpachah? Let me put him back on the screen so you can see him here again. Let me go back a little bit so you can hear it again.
You don't have no salvation because you trust in the one thing that the Most High told you not to trust in for your salvation. All right. So y'all think about that. We got liberty. Yahweh Shai didn't die to end the law so that we could remain under the law. All right. So I just wanted to make sure to get that across to y'all. Y'all been spending all this time laughing at us eating ham or whatever. That ain't what's gonna get you. What's gonna get you is y'all depending on the law, the same law.
You see his dirty mouth?
They depend on Moses' law for your salvation. All you ignorant are getting ready to learn. So y'all talk to your camp leaders about that.
Yeah, that's
He's a Christian.
yeah, that's what he is. That's what he is.
Christian.
All right, so let's look at the infamous Exodus 20. We're gonna look at this a minute, and we're gonna just go through this and ask this question. Let's compare the 10 Commandments to 2025 present day. Okay, let's ask the question: how are we breaking this law today in 2025? Okay, so the first commandment, I put it on the screen, and we're gonna open up the Bible in a minute. So Exodus 20 and verses 3.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So the Most High told Moses to tell Israel that we should have no other gods before him. So how are we breaking this law today in 2025? This is an example here, okay? So when we go on, I'm gonna ask in the chat, and I want to hear some stuff from you guys. We serve many gods today. This is how we are breaking this commandment today, because we serve many gods today. Sometimes it's voluntary and sometimes it's involuntary. In other words, you're doing it without even realizing that you're doing it, and sometimes you do it willfully, okay? Serve other gods by doing what? Celebrating their religious days and holidays. Do we still see our people doing Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and New Year's? Yes or no? Are there still worshiping the Most High whatever day they want to, rather than what is ordered or instructed. That's what they're doing. Okay. Serve other gods by the foods we eat, which are most likely offered to those false gods, or when we willingly go against what our Elohim commands us not to eat. So we see the brother always talking about his spread. He loves his pork, right? He's always going after the spread and doing this and that. And we can see clearly how he is doing what? Breaking the commandments.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
When the NFL or any organization who is in the sports world bring on an athlete, don't they have a regiment which is dealing with exercise that the athlete, let's say the Olympics, for example, the athlete has to be set apart from other things, like they can't put certain things into their bodies. They have to have a certain type of diet. If you're a swimmer, they put you on a diet regiment, exercise regiment that is honed specifically for that type of sport that they're doing, whether it's swimming. If you're lifting weights, you can't have a certain type of diet. You need to be able to eat. Yes, us, the Marvis, training foods. You got to eat that type of food that allows you to bench press 500 pounds or throw a discus, or if you got to jump over bars, or you got to swim. There are certain foods that you got to eat. Now, if you don't follow the requirement that is given by the sports authority, and you want to do drugs or you want to eat whatever it is, are you not fired or released from that? Wouldn't you be considered breaking, right? Or wouldn't you be disqualified from that? Obviously, the answer is yes. So they would recognize in a sports world, because they like to wear the sports jersey. Those Israelite men, they love the sports jersey. However it looks, the baseball cap, the football thing, the whatever, all the different things, slave stuff on them. And they know that they will talk about the sport, the rules of the game and all that stuff all the time. But when it comes to the Most High business, we don't have no law. It's done away with. Like the regiment, the requirements for us, we have to eat clean stuff that we could be called set apart. What makes us set apart if there's no law? I'm eating pork like anyone else.
Now, look at this. You mentioned this because this player, his name is Zion Williams. I'm trying to find the right one where I saw it, but it's talking about, because in the contract, if you don't follow the diet plan they have, they will fine you. They will charge you. You have to pay a fee. So there's a weight clause in sports contracts, and he has a weight clause where if he goes beyond 295 pounds, he has to pay his money that he has. He doesn't receive what's paid to him. You can look it up, Mishpachah. And that is to every athlete out there. So when it comes to our people not fulfilling our part, what does that say? You think the Most High is going to bless us when we continue living in sin? Now let's look at some ways we serve other gods. We have the goat riders over here because we want to join the Masonic Lodge, right? The holidays we celebrate, different fraternities and fraternizations that we go to, eating the unclean foods, wearing things that we're not supposed to wear. And this is also a ritual serving the phallus god, going up and down a pole. A lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of our young women want to, be pole dancers.
That's part. Isn't the pole part of the Shalom life to have a pole?
Let's look at this video here. Pull up this other video here. How's everyone doing tonight? Put a 1, you're doing good. Put a 2, not so good.
Staying warm. All right, look at this video here. I think it's Brother Pincus that has shared this video in the brothers chat, so I kind of took a little piece from it.
So you telling me that they are sending hair from India.
And Rebbe did a class on this with the good hair, what like Chris Rock did, the movie he did or documentary he did, and we talked about this before. Let me start it over again.
So you telling me that they are sending hair from India to Black women over here, and we all know that there's all types of hair. Yeah.
Shaving the woman's head.
Okay.
They shave their hair off to get rid of their bad karma and all that stuff.
So they shaving their hair off to get rid of their karma, and they're sending their hair over here to us, and they're marketing it. They're marketing it. Yeah, right. They market it to Black women on purpose because they want us to take their karma. And if not,
you guys hear that? So there's a lot of these things are cursed, and we continue to. And we wonder why we continue living in a cursed state.
it's like an energy transference.
This here, woven into perfect strands, holds the DNA of another person, a stranger, someone you've never met, someone likely of a different ethnicity, culture, and most definitely of a different spiritual or religious conviction. This is hair of unknown origins that we pay a pretty penny for, that is being placed millimeters away.
Somebody in the chat, Google for me the amount of money the hair industry makes a year.
Billions.
Just put that number in the chat when you find it.
Good hair.
From our brain.
Let me go back.
You're not just wearing gems that we pay a pretty penny for, that is being placed millimeters away from our brain. You're not just wearing hair, you're wearing a part of someone else's life. Imagine if it were their fingernails or skin, for example. I know that's an eerie thought, but hair, after all, is made of the exact same proteins. But somehow today, we've convinced ourselves that this is different. This is totally natural. This is normal. This action is...
So you telling me?
All right. So says, I guess the numbers is just all over the place. 1.5 billion, 39 million.
Billions.
In the billions, right?
Billions.
And that's just one way, Mishpachah, of our people serving other gods.
It looks like Google is quiet when it comes to the AI is quiet, doesn't want to tell us because it doesn't want us to know the truth. So our sisters are not going to get the right numbers, and we'll just keep doing it. They're quick to answer all kinds of other queries, but yeah, it's interesting.
Let's look at the last video I have here, and then we're going to get into some of the question, the text here to continue. So this is a brother with his rant again. Let's finish this off with him.
Shalom, family. This your King and Shepherd KD coming with another. Well, no, I ain't doing no message daily application. It's about the food. It's about the food. And about the fact that I believe this is the last meal we're going to have on this side. I believe that. All right.
He's saying this is the last meal he's going to have. Okay. So let's listen.
You're free to believe what you want to believe. I believe this is the last meal. So had to get the brother panning around. See the brothers and sisters. All right. Call it. Shalom.
Sisters wearing pants.
All praise, all praise, all praise, all praise. All right, back on me, back on me, back on me. I believe this to be our last meeting.
Oh yeah.
Not eating outside the cake.
You think he's pronouncing death upon himself?
Yes. That's it.
Huh? Putting a curse on himself. This is his last meal. All right, brother, you said that.
That's in my belief. All right, and wouldn't go through all this if I didn't believe that. Hope y'all doing the same. All right, we have what, 9 days? Well, this here is for the family. All right, number one, love the royal house. Hope y'all are celebrating in your own way. All right, we ain't celebrating no Easter. And I made this, I'm doing this video, first of all, for the Pharisees, all right, because I know you punk ass is on here watching, all right? So we're going to.
So he calling those that keep the law Pharisees. All right, let's continue.
Show you, if I may, LT. Let me get that from you. Yeah. Y'all check it out. All right. What we got here? We got spaghettis. All right.
Spaghetti.
Complete with the smoked sausages. All right.
Sausage.
We got that. We got what's this right here, Mr. Cat? That's cat. Got catfish. Meow. We know y'all don't like that shit. All right. Another pan of catfish. No. That's sole.
It's catfish.
Ooh, that's the fillet of sole. Look at that. Ain't it nice and bready? And
Sole is catfish, if y'all didn't know.
Ain't it nice and crispy? And then we got the sea
Swai.
roach. I mean the shrimps. We know y'all don't like that. All right.
You see what he said?
Ain't it nice and crispy? And then we got the sea roach. I mean the shrimps. We know y'all don't like that.
See, so he knows.
All right. And then we got another pan of shrimp. Look at that. I even got a close-up for y'all so y'all can see the seasonings. Y'all see that shit? Look at that. Do y'all see that? All right. And then we can thank this man right here. Say Shalom. All right. We got all right. We got the kebabs ready to go. If y'all was at the Ria Mista, y'all remember that. Oh, and look at here. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done. Look at
I can sing over food.
the garlic
Oh yeah, he's singing.
bread. Y'all see the seasonings in there? I want y'all to get a close up.
The seasonings
We
in
got
there.
a nice salad full of juicy tomatoes. Oh, and
There goes your salad, Rebbe.
One salad. You ever listen? If you take salad and put it in a frying pan or a pot and give it about 5 minutes or so, that thing just welts down
Not even 5 minutes.
to almost, it shrivels to nothing, right? Now you put that on a scale, and then you put all that food, brethren. The salad, that little light pieces of leaves is never gonna clean out all that grease and fat that guy is. Anyway,
oh, and we got the ceviche. We got, look here. We even got the flat tortilla chips. See there? We got the speak. Come here, Celeste. Northern Kingdom in the house. It's a
He believed that he believed the 12 tribes stuff,
It's inside of his living room.
right? Okay.
car.
More like the
All
12
right.
tools.
We love our Northern Kingdom, goddammit. Look here. Now, I don't know what this is, but it looks damn good. What's that? Agua chili, as an R chili, agua chili. And we got 5 million lines. All right. We got all the dipping sauces we need. And
All the
look
dipping
there.
sauces you need.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Nothing.
There.
You just light that table.
Oh, you don't want to miss it.
See what? Keep us. Say it in the mic. Keep
Just
us.
light that table up, man.
And you want to open it up to see, to show them. Uh-oh. And for more dessert, the parfaits. How about that? Look at it. She happy? So, spin it around. I'll go ahead and bottle that up. All right, Royal House. Enough bullshitting around. It's time to eat. All right. We got 9 days. All right. I pray that y'all are holding on and keeping your vibration up. All right. And that you pray to the Most High and just stand on your square.
So he's talk about that. That's Masonic talk. Standing on your square.
Yeah.
And then that new age talking about keep your vibration up. You see the corruptions in that Mishpach. I hope you all
Yep.
catch on to certain things he's saying.
yes.
It'll come a long way. All right. It's time for us to celebrate.
All right, that's it on this guy.
He looked the part too.
Yeah, he does look the part. All right, let's move on. We're almost finished. We're going to go through Exodus chapter 20, verses 4 to 17. And we're going to ask this question here. How are we breaking the law today in 2025? Get Exodus 20 up here. And in the chat, I want y'all to respond to me and let me know how we are breaking the law today. All right, we're going to start from verses 4. It says, go ahead, Kifo.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself, nor serve them. For I, you are the Elohim, I'm a jealous Elohim, visiting iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
So the question is, how are we breaking this today, Mishpachah? It says, thou shalt not make unto you any graven image. How many images that we have been bowing down to and serving? Give me some examples in the chat. Come on. So Seneca said a lot. Okay, a lot. There's a lot. Okay, we have idols. Give me some examples of idols, Sister Brenda. Crosses, okay. Caesar Borgia, go ahead. There are too many. Allah. Clothing. Give me some more. Holidays. Cars. So a lot of material things, right? Graven image. It says, or likeness of anything that is in the heaven above. So when you start making celestial beings and shrines and putting different things up, we see how people are doing this very same thing. When you put those ink on your body that we talked about, you start to put different images on your body, that's doing the same thing. That's a form of worship. All right, Kiefer, continue, verse 6.
And shown mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So the Most High is only going to show mercy unto those who do what? Keep his commandments. Continue.
Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy Elohim in vain, for Yahweh will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
And we talked about this, Mishpachah. How are we keep taking the Most High's name in vain today? In 2025, how are we taking the Most High's name in vain? Give me an example. Shaming the Most High, how? We've been seeing how some of these brothers out there are doing it, right? We just saw several examples. He's calling on the name of the Most High in Hebrew, wearing symbols and different things, claiming, but yet his heart is what? Far. You have a form of godliness, but you're denying what the scripture is telling you to do. You're denying the power of the law, the lingo, the music, the bonics. Yep, all that's correct. Okay, continue, Kifo. Verse 8.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But on the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Okay, pause a minute. Let me go up a little bit here. It says, remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. And we've been teaching on this. We have plenty of videos on Rumble. Plenty of videos that talks about how we calculate, how we find what days of worship are, as far as the holy days are when we talk about Leviticus 23, how we can calculate it, how we know when the year begins, when the month begins, and when we find out when the month begins, how we count to find out the day of worship that the Most High has told us to do. He says, but the seventh day is the Shabbat. So how are we breaking this today? Very simple. We are worshiping it on different days. That is not. We are doing all types of defilement on the Most High's days. We're working on those days. Everything that we find ourselves doing willfully, I'm talking about when we do it willfully, we're breaking those laws, statutes, and commandments. Continue, Kiefer, verse 11.
For in 6 days you are made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore you are blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Okay.
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land, which you are thy Elohim giveth thee.
So how are we today, Mishpachah, not honoring our father and our mother? Do we see the generations today honoring their father and their mother? Matter of fact, I don't even think they have a father and a mother. when I say that, I'm referring to in their lives. People will say they have, what do they say? They have, they call it parents, but there's a term they use that you're just the person who brought me into the world, but you're not my father, you're not my mother. You know, you're just donors. But how are we not honoring our father and our mother? We're being disobedient. Because when we and it's not just talking about your current father and mother, it's talking about not removing the ancient landmark that your fathers has set. It goes all the way back to that too, from the beginning when the law was instituted and it's established and we follow it. When we don't honor those laws, statutes, and commandments, we are disobeying. Therefore, our life will be cut short. And we read earlier about, let me go back over here because I think there's some of y'all forget. Ecclesiastes verses, what was it, 8 and 11? No, what was it? Ecclesiastes, let me go. 8 and 11. That's the wrong one I'm in. Hold on. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verses 11. Let's look at that again. Read that for me again, Kifo.
Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
All right, so when we go back to Exodus chapter 20, let me go back there, and we see that we're talking about honoring your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Most High has given us, right? Right here. That your days may be long upon the land which Yahuwah, your Elohim, giveth you. But if we say it in ourselves that, oh, we're not going to do this no more because we're not being punished, we can understand that it's not something that's going to happen speedily, but it will come. That judgment will come. And our lives will be cut short. All right, verses 13.
Thou shalt not kill.
And how are we doing this today, Mishpachah? How are we killing today? Let's see who's thinking. The tongue, abortion. Good. That's a good one, Brother Akin. Slandering, conversation, toxicity. So we can find it in so many different ways. The music, the food, the way we dress, conversations, drugs, alcohol, the list is long. When we hate our brother, our neighbor, our Israelite, when we're giving them wrong information, meaning that we're like the brother is telling you to break the law, he is basically trying to kill you.
And when you think about the little lights, the little children, there's a saying, monkey see, monkey do. Monkey gets in trouble too. And children may not be able to comprehend your reasoning behind what you do, but they watch you. If you touch something, they'll watch what you're doing. They'll come up right behind you and touch the same thing. And then you have to correct them and tell them, tap them on the hand or correct them and say, no. And then gradually after a period of time, they'll understand as they get older what that is. But you can kill, because if a child sees you doing certain things, they will come right after you and they will get destroyed because of just by watching.
Mm-hmm. All right, read the next one, Kifo.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
How are we doing this today in 2025? How are we committed adultery today in 2025? Let's see who in the chat is thinking. How are we committing adultery today in 2025? False gods. We just talked about all them false gods. Serving other gods, okay. The wearing apparel. We had classes on clothing. Again, the diet we eat, things that are sacrificed to idols. The music. Also, everything in today's agenda has been sexualized to to promote that lifestyle of lewdness.
Adultery normally connects with the woman
Contract.
who is in covenant.
Right. And that's
So we as Israelite being in covenant, then stepping out of that, still in covenant. We haven't been severed from the Most High, so we're in covenant with Him, and we do the things of other Elohims. That will be considered adultery.
yes. And that is the difference right there. The contract that we have established from the beginning with Abraham. Remember what the slide that says our great grandfather, Abraham, he established that contract. And that contract is still valid. That is the contract that we have been breaking with the other nations. All right, the next one for me, Kifo.
Thou shalt not steal.
So, Mr. How are we stealing today? How are we stealing today in 2025? Come on, Mr. Carl, let's see who's thinking. Stealing. How are we stealing? We're stealing people's what? Time. When we steal. Nobody in chat can answer that one. How are we stealing today? Not given to the Most High, correct? Plain stealing, okay. Weights, false weights and unjust balances. Lives. Not supporting your own, the body itself. Not giving him his full attention, Ema said. Given to Caesar and not to the Most High. So I want y'all to think. This is why I'm just showing you how they try to take the law and move it away and say we don't need it no more, and how we actually fallen into that behavior of committing these wrongdoings, breaking the law itself, because we are actually doing the same thing they're doing. And this is where we have to be careful, take a step back, and make sure that we are crossing our T's and dotting our I's. All right, if we read the next one.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
And this is the big one that we can relate to. How are we bearing false witness against our neighbor? A lot of bickering going on between the different Hebrew Israelite brothers out there, going back and forth. We're supposed to all be waking up to the truth, but for some reason, we find ourselves in a battle. We find ourselves calling each other names and going around bearing false witness, gossip, tale bearing, debates. Yes,
There's a lot of hearsay,
Huh?
not necessarily living with the people and knowing facts or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of reasons for that, but that's a huge problem among Israel. This is why we got so many different groups coming up. No different from the Christian church. It's just the same thing being repeated again, you know.
And this is where it talks about love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. But how we wanted to recite that and to say that, but yet we are false witness towards our own brothers and sisters.
No, love your neighbor when you're with the same camp. That's how it works. When you're with the same camp, that's when you love your neighbor.
Read the last one for me, Kifo.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
This is one that a lot of people look over. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. That's just one piece of it. Thy neighbor's wife, his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that belongs to your brother. And how are we doing that today in 2025? How are we breaking this law today, Mishpachah? Lusting, of contentment, Hebrew fame, coveting Hebrew fame, social media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go
You
ahead.
ain't trying to be like the Kardashians. You know, you see some Israelite doing certain things and you want to try to get that too. That basically the possessions of a person
Yeah.
you want to yeah, vainglorious pursuit is good.
Yep. Yes, Ima.
Shalom, brethren.
Shalom.
Shalom Eva.
Covetousness could also make you break
All of them.
the sixth commandment. It could also make you do the eighth commandment.
Mm-hmm.
It could also make you do the ninth commandment, because when you covet something, it tends to make you go after these things. Coveting doesn't just mean looking at something and looking off.
Yeah.
It means deeply concentrating on the things
Plotting. Scheming.
until you reach out and take it.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessed with it. That's what you're trying to say. You're obsessed
yeah.
with it.
Obsessed with
And
Go ahead.
yeah, with such obsession that you want to take another person's life sometimes that follows.
Yeah. Obsession, which leads, they're all connected, Mishpachah. This is why he says if you break one, you break all. Because
Yeah.
they're all connected in some form or some fashion. Like Rebbe always say, it's like a woven, interwoven, and they want to pull the threads and remove one at a time. When you start doing that, it breaks down the whole foundation. This is what all these other religions out there do. The law starts to fall apart, and then this is where you have a different flavor altogether. All right, so once we understand that all the laws are directly connected to all the prophecies, then we will understand that all the prophecies are the Most High's words that has been spoken, written, and established without end. So let's read Deuteronomy 29 and 29. It says, the secret things belong unto Yahuwah our Elohim. This part is very important here. But those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, Mishpachah, that we may do all the words of this law. See, that's the difference. Do all the words of this law. What people try to do is they want to know the secret things. They don't care for the things that has been revealed. Right here. The things that have been revealed is the Most High says, these are the instructions. This is how you're going to live upon the earth. You're going to take care. I'll give you a job and a task to do. Take care of the animals, take care of the earth. You're going to build houses. You're going to plant gardens. You're going to have children. I don't want to do that. I want to know what God is thinking. I want to know what's behind his throne. I want to know what size shoes he wears. And you start looking at all kinds of different things. You know, if there's other planets out there that have other people, all kinds of stupid stuff people start to wander off on. He's telling you, focus on the things that I give you to focus on. And these things that he gave us to focus on, it belongs unto us and to our seed forever. Psalms 147 verses 19 and verse 20 says, he sheweth his word unto Jacob. So he came and he says, to the seed of Jacob, I'm going to give you the law, statutes, and commandments. When you read back, because we talked about Esau just Shabbat, right? And when you look at the records, Esau was a person in the field, and Jacob was a person in the what? Tents. What was he doing in the tents, Mishpachah? He was learning the law, statutes, and commandments. He was putting them to use.
Yeah, that's another way of saying Torah. Whenever we see that word being in the tense,
the tense, yes,
yeah, the Torah.
So he was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. He was keeping the Torah. So he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So those judgments that he shewed unto Israel was the punishments, the corrections along the way throughout all these captivities. In no other nation that he say, I'm going to bring judgment upon you for breaking my law. Can we find that anywhere in the 66 books, in the Apocrypha, Joshua, Jubilees, Enoch, that the Most High punished another nation besides Israel for not keeping his laws? You won't find it. He punished other nations for messing with us, or for doing going above and beyond in putting harm to us, because sometimes he would put other nations there to correct us, and they would go out and do more, like in the case of Esau. And he punishes them, but not for the law, statutes, and commandments, because the law, statutes, and commandments, we read right here. We continue to read verse 20 for me. Go ahead.
He had not dealt so with any nation.
So any other nation out there, he has not given the law, statutes, and commandments, and has punished them for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Continue.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh.
See? So as for the punishments, the other nations have not known it because they have not received it. So when people ask the questions like, the law is done away with, and does it apply to everyone? No, Mishpachah. It only applies to Israel. This is a special contract and covenant that the Most High has given to his people. And we are supposed to take our time, relearn all of these laws, statutes, and commandments, and start to apply. This is why he says in verse 29 of Deuteronomy 29 says that we may do all the words of this law. All the words of this law, not some of it. So when we are living in these last days, 2025, and going on in the heathens calendar, because we know our new year hasn't started yet, right? When we are living in these current day, moment, period, present day, however you want to put it, when we are here, we are supposed to conduct ourselves separated from the other nations. We have plenty of classes that we have been given and learning and looking at that we can actually learn and put to use. We should be having growth. Imagine you plant a seed and this seed is getting all this nutrients, fertilize, water, sun, the perfect temperature, the dirt, and the seed is just a fat, nice, juicy seed. And for years, you don't see no roots come out. You don't see no branch, no leaves, no stems, nothing from this seed. What would you do with that seed? He must have feed it to the chickens. Are you a seed, Mishpachah, that is not producing anything? In other words, we have all these classes, we have all of these teachings. What are we doing with it? Are we applying it in our lives today to make those changes? Or are we eating other doctrines? Are we going after other false doctrines? Are we eating from the mac and cheese brother? Are we having his...
We got the sausage gravy.
And the gravy. Are we having his sausage and his gravy? Are we eating from his table?
The shrimp.
Ella said the shrimp?
Yeah.
Anyone in the chat? Are you eating from his table?
No way.
And we got the ceviche.
What?
Mishpachah, are you eating from his Kifa, are you eating from his table?
Ceviche.
We're supposed to eat from the Most High's table and the Most High's table only. Plenty of food. All you can eat buffet open. The best spread. It's holy. It's healthy.
Brother Shay, can you explain to those who may not know what ceviche, how it's prepared, especially for little lights, because I know the little lights listening.
Okay.
Explain
So
what
ceviche is normally made from shrimp, or you can use it's seafood. You can use shrimp, you can use fish, you can use conch, lobster. So you can use different types of seafood, and it's not cooked, it's raw, and it take lemon juice, which barely changes the composition of it, and they say it cooks it when it really doesn't. And then you add it with tomatoes and onions and peppers and different type of spices, and you eat it. Let me look it up. Let me show you.
So does lemon juice cook?
According to the heathen, that's what they say. Lemon juice does not cook. Fire is the only thing that cooks, Mishpachah. Yeah. Help me spell ceviche again. Let's see. C-E-V-I-C. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. I need to learn how to spell it. Okay, what is ceviche made of? Let's look at it and see. Chunks of raw fish marinated in freshly squeezed key lime with sliced onions, chili peppers, salt, and pepper. See? So those of you who don't know, and see right here, it says it right here. So, and this is the original recipe here, Peruvian dish, usually served, generally made with raw, fresh fish or what? Shrimp. See? So that should answer the question when you have.
And we got the ceviche.
Brother Shea,
Yes.
when you look up the ceviche process, like you said, the lemon juice it barely, they say it, what it does, they call it cooking, but it breaks down the protein, right?
Yeah.
And then they follow up by saying that is basically the process of marinating. So they would say yes and no. It is cooking, but by breaking down the protein, right? So that's the lemon juice, but they also call it a marinade. So when you go look up, is marinating the same as cooking? And the AI says no, it is not. So you see the play on words.
Oh yeah.
Little lemon juice supposedly cooks it, but not all the way unless you cut it thin. And they classify it as marinating, right?
Mm-hmm.
In lemon juice. But then when you ask the AI, is marinating the same as cooking? It says no. Marinating is the process of soaking the food, right? While cooking is the application of heat.
Right.
It's two different things.
Yeah. Brother, sushi is different from sashimi. Sashimi is raw fish. The sushi is the process of having the rice with the seaweed, and anything can be stuffed inside of it. So there's a difference. People think sushi is that. It's called sashimi when they eat the raw fish and they put it on top of that, and then it's called sushi. So there's a whole lot of different lingo that people use, and they try to fool you. But don't be fooled, Mishpachah. Before you drink, downstream, you do what? Do your research. That's all we're saying. Don't take all types of doctrines and run with it, because you end up looking like this brother right here. This brother right here, because he has smoked sausage. Just smoked sausages. This is what he has, okay? You have to be careful by going eating downstream, because upstream, you're getting all kinds of nasty stuff.
Albert.
So I hope tonight we learned something where we don't want to be consuming unrighteousness. We want to make sure that we're eating Torah straight from what is written, thus saith the Most High. We are following the law, statutes, and commandments. We're doing it in love, because that's what we're supposed to do, not hating one another. And we're keeping all the statutes and commandments. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Any last words, Kifo?
Stay strong, everyone, and hold the faith.
All right, Elder?
Yeah, the last word is to keep the commandments and eat clean and live right. All praises to the Most High. Thank you, Brother O'Shea. Thank you, Brother Kifa, for the words and the reading tonight, and also Brother Yana. All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah. The last words, Rebbe?
Well, before I give my last words, I do have a anonymous attendee asking a question.
Okay.
Is there anyone in the congregation that does circumcisions? I would say no. So normally that is something that will be done by.
If anyone in the congregation does circumcision, that's the question.
I would say no, not that I know of. That's in this day and age, that's a very sensitive thing to do.
There are places that do it. You just have to find and schedule. Depends on what state you're in, what country you're in. You just you can do some research, find out. It may cost some places are not too expensive, some places are expensive depending on the medication that's given to stop the pain,
It's all about money. It used to be about
anesthesia, put you to sleep and stuff like that. Yeah.
it used to be $100. Not anymore.
Just do your research, Mishpaka. There are places that do it, and we're required by law. All our men follow suit, and there are brothers that has done that. Years later, they went back. They had the process done. Don't be like the Greeks that go in reverse. Okay.
And also, Sister Seneca says that her power went out, so we pray that the Most High will restore your power. This is what we were talking about. And I've also mentioned, family, that one of the things that we all need to have are called sleeping bags. Every
Yes.
family should have sleeping bags for each member of the family at all times, especially in the winter time when you're traveling on the road. You put something in your car. A lot of times people are stuck on the road during winter storms and they have no help and they're frozen. If you have a sleeping bag, you can at least pull yourself in that thing and wait for help, right? And you'll be just fine. You'll be toasty in there. But if you don't have that, you'll find yourself in trouble. So now that the power is out, sis, having a sleeping bag is very good. If you don't have a fireplace to keep you warm, at least if you have a sleeping bag, or if you have a tent, you can put your tent in your living room, which will help to minimize heat in the whole space. So even your own body temperature will be able to be contained within that tent. You sleep in that tent inside your living room or your bedroom, wherever you have space to open a tent. Okay, those pop-up tents. You put your sleeping bag in there. You put your blankets in there. You don't have to worry about the whole room. It's like you're camping outdoors, but you got enough heat from your body and whatever's in there to contain in that space, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Without
And,
power.
and yeah, and also you can also this is if you have gas or propane, you can light your oven.
Yeah, you can
We
light
have to
your
do
oven.
that in some cases.
Yeah, you can light your oven if you have that. The oven should have an exhaust outside that doesn't come back into the house, so you can put that on low and just be close to that area, and you should be fine. Okay. Um, but yeah,
That's why you don't
below.
want to have a smart house device, everything electrical.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, it's always good to kind of have a mixture of different types of things in your home. If one thing goes out, you have another, and then another, and so forth. That's what we try to teach our people. And yeah, Brother Shaw, one thing you gotta let your
faucet drip.
faucet drip too in the winter time because people's pipes get frozen in all
Collect
kinds
the
of
water in a
ways.
bucket or a pan while it's dripping too.
Yes. Yeah. So my final thoughts is that you did a wonderful class on the Defiled Doctrines. You went through some important points again, which our people need to really assess and to understand. The result, see, the not following a class like tonight, you will be the product of that same brother. You will end up being the very definition of that same mac and cheese brother, right? You can see it's not only in his belief system, but it's also in his dietary system, his dietary mannerisms, the way he handles himself. He is on his way to the grave at an early age, and sometimes he may not even be as old as you may think he is, but because of how he keeps himself, right? And one thing that is not shown here by this brother is he on some types of different medications? Does he go for dialysis? Does he, what's going on with him health wise, right? And how many siblings or family members that is like him that have already passed on because of bad life death styles, right? Death styles, and the Christian church will not really. They do sometimes, but in most cases, they open up the floodgates for people to practice whatever. Christ paid it all. Eat whatever it is. just pray over the thing and eat and so forth. And the doctrines are no different. Just believe in Jesus, which is the same thing as pray over whatever it is and it's clean. Believe in Jesus and you'll be saved. That's it. And they fail to see that the Messiah says you can just take the book of Revelations, just the parts where the Messiah is going to come, and see how he's going to reward people for their breaking of his commandments. Revelations 22 says those that defile and whatever it is, they will be cast into the lake of fire because they broke his commandments. So stay away from these mac and cheese defiled doctrines. It gives you spiritual obesity, which leads to death. And I want to thank Brother Shea and Brother Kifa and all of you all who has put in your bits and pieces in the Torah to help our people and to keep us on the track. May the Most High bless you. May the Most High keep you also during this winter season.
All right, Elder.
All praises to the Most High. Let us pray, family. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the teaching tonight. We thank you for everything that was said. We bless and praise your name. Thank you for Brother Yona, Brother Oshe, and also Brother Kifa, and all of us that participate tonight. Help us to have a good night rest, Father. May your name be praised forever and ever because we love you and we thank you. Through your Son, Yeshua, we pray. Amen. And the words of our mouth
and meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight.
Oh,
yeah,
who is our strength and our Redeemer.
All right, Ms. Picard, stay warm and shalom.
Trigger tsunami and left sickness danger valley. Quick to transgress, playing with fire continually. The retina scans as time advance, so that's technology. Where this the Holy One knows the Almighty. Some serial killers come from the human laboratory. Eugenics project side effect, torment the baby. Medicinal baggage is between the greedy dummy. And we are dead to the money power hungry. Humanity been charging it less already. Insanity tail a customizing species. First the other interfere where they should not be. Backfire sit down patient in a them lobby. There's repercussion for just the acts of iniquity. In your cup of indignation there's no pity. There's no remorse and no way out and no sympathy. Continue to run your mouth and eye your